out Big Steve.
Shout out Mikey B. UFC Paris recap. We're going to see if we made profit on this weekend's card and the regionals. Look, I've been a little bit quiet. I didn't do an early tease. I didn't do a actual final podcast for this show. So my bad. I've been very busy. Didn't do much tape. The tape that I didn't have any bets. So we'll go through it. Start with the recap now, and then I'll try to do more content next week. But did we make money? Yes, we did. It might have not been much, but it's an honest man's work. So let's get into it. And let's see. Let's start with the regionals, right? We've got Litz, Shadow Big Steve, and Renat for free moneyline under KO1. Good job, Litz. Good job there, son. I will talk about that fight soon enough. But let me go through the. Usually, I don't do contender series recaps because I do a great show with either Scrap Kappa or Dogfather, and I do a recap there. But F it, I'm going to do it for this show, and then I can skip it on Wednesday. So, again, I didn't get much time to tape. I did the McMillan fight. I thought, McMillan kind of looked like a fraud, but then I'm like, you know what? I'm just assuming, because he's smashing cans. But, David McGoyan went up to minus 200. It was basically Sarukian versus O'Malley prospects. Man, McMillan ate shit in round one. He survived an insane guillotine. As someone that currently has a neck injury from jits, that shit looked brutal, man. It looked like McMillan's neck was going to snap. Those vertebrae, they're going to need some rehab for now. I ended up not doing anything with that fight, but I kind of regret not playing the over plus money and also not line betting Tommy McMillan because David looked quite tired after that. He was on short notice, so nothing there. Eduardo Henrique, Chapolin versus Anhuanto. Also, kind of regret not playing a money line on Henrique. Especially when it got close to pick him, I was like, man, he's just better. He's just more well-rounded and proven. Ho's a bum. I faded him the first time, killed the cab driver in LFA, and now he just showed that he doesn't have the 15-minute high-level experience to put a decision together. Right? Again, Henrique was short notice. I passed. Honestly, I take it back. I don't really regret passing on that because Ho was winning round one until Henrique took him down. Ho was winning round two until Ho engaged in grappling and then gave round two to Henrique. And then round three, Ho went for another takedown and just collapsed in the middle of the octagon. And it's like, man, you're outstriking this guy and you're engaging in the grappling and you're losing the round. So again, I didn't know that he was going to be that stupid, but the fight was still incredibly competitive. So I don't really regret it, but, obviously a 30-27 across the board. Mandel versus Samuel Silva. This is the one that I said I feel like I want to have the play on the most. Mallow was $2.50. I love this guy. When this guy first came on the scene in Bellator, I was like, this guy's a legend. I hope he makes it to the UFC. A couple of shitty losses later, I'm like, he's never going to make it. Then something was off about his age. I see, 3 years ago against Piccolotti, he's 33, but Topology says he's 33. And I was like, this is a bit off. And there's no way UFC will be giving a 36-year-old an opportunity. There you go. The fight starts, and tail of the tape, and Mandel is 36 years of age. But ultimately, I missed out on the money line. But I'm like, man, if this is going to cash, it's going to be Nalo inside the first round, right? Because Samuel Silva, I already talked about the unders on the Contender Series show, right? I played his last two under 1.5s in LFA Brazil. One misses by 10 seconds. He gets a guillotine against the guy that hits like a truck. And the second one goes all the way to decision, but he gets near killed like 3 times in round one. So I'm like, this is going to hit, right? So I just played Mallow round 1 KO, just like $100, nothing major because I didn't want to be tilted again. To win 300 and something, a little bit over half a unit, and that hit, But I will say, and Samuel Silva ate like 3-4 front kicks to the face, man. This guy's chin it's quite annoying, to be honest. But luckily, once his leg got busted up, Nalo killed him. And I'm really happy for the guy. Interesting experiment. A 36-year-old Mandel Nalo. I never thought I would have seen the day in the UFC. I think actually he can win fights in the UFC. I don't like the whole black and white about Contender Series. He's old. He's not a prospect. Don't sign him. Like, why bring him on the show? So I love that Nalo impressed. He basically killed the guy that's a Cage Warriors champion, an LFA champion in his prime. So he's UFC level, so good stuff. Feel like we're living in an alternate universe. All right, let me go through the comments and then I'll continue on. Hello, Six Sound. What's up, my friend? Hello, Parky. Hello, Dogfather. Wow, the lads are turning up. McMillan going to be pure cinema in the UFC. He deserves it just for the pure heart. Hi, Steve, my son. Okay. 6 ounce, Samuel Silva, no chin. I mean, I'm going to say Samuel Silva is incredibly tough. How bad is George Hardwick? Yeah, George Hardwick and just the Hardwick brothers in general. They drive a fraud truck, them too, everywhere they go. All right. Cezary Oleszczyk versus Theo Haag. Mikhail's younger brother, and myself and Dogfather talked about. We both locked in this bet, and honestly, we knew the dangers. This guy was going to get killed, and maybe not, because I didn't think Cezary hits that hard, honestly. Because there's a couple of fights that went extended, and he dropped these guys, and it doesn't finish him. And the guys that he's killing, Tom Breeze and just traditionally chinny guys. I'm like, Theo Haag just seems like a guy that probably has really bad striking defense, but recovers well, and he's probably going to shoot for a takedown. And I didn't like the under at minus money, just because I thought Cezary could survive. He didn't seem like a complete fish on the ground, and also I didn't think he hits that hard. So I could kind of see a competitive cage grinding back and forth fight where there's maybe knockdowns, there's takedowns, there's a backpack, there's reversals. And then I thought, this money line at $3.70, massive value. And I didn't want to live bet it because I thought, Theo Haag round one takedown and round one sub. That's it. Live bet is gone. So I was completely fine with donating half a unit, $300. And yeah, that loss. I was still, even though I was happy to lose via round one KO, that was still an annoying loss. I dropped him once. I was like, whatever, shoot the double, shoots the single, and then just, 30 unanswered strikes. So that's annoying. It was just like, do something, man. If you're going to go for the single, don't just sit there eating punches to the temple. But I don't really have a complaint about back of the head shots. I was just annoyed that I couldn't really be saved there. But yeah, so now we break even. I was like, I'm not going to break even here. Let's go. One fight to go. To squash Matt with John Paul, the Bosniani. I don't really trust this kid that well just yet. I know him well. He's slipped on the banana peel a couple of times in the regionals. He's fighting a bum, so I just played the under 1.5. I thought Jack's path is a KO. I thought John Paul could knock him out. He was getting busted up on Cage Titans, the worst regional promotion there is. And I thought he could also get submitted. So, yeah, that's what I played. I played not even a unit, 450 to win, just under half a unit, $300. So, ended up on 280, just under 300, just under half a unit. It's whatever. It's a tiny bit of profit. It got me started off, with a modest profit for September. So, we move on, right? As I said, I didn't get much tape done. All the other regionals, I didn't really do much. I was trying to do boxing. There was nothing that really stuck out in boxing. There was an under 8.5 rounds in a Shishkin versus Iglesias fight. That ended in round 8. So we move on. So I'm like, ACA, I only have 1 day to tape this, but I've been doing well on ACA. A couple of bets hit, and I've been enjoying it. I'm starting to get reads. I'm seeing these fighters more and more frequently. I'm getting the database is growing. So I'm like, let me see. And I kind of burnt myself out. There wasn't much I liked here. I ended up having one play, just the biggest meme, low-level shit. This Vadim Ogar guy versus Alexei Meshkov. Meshkov is just this karate dude from Sushi. Look at this guy. Just a soy-looking karate guy, taekwondo guy, I should say. And me and Peace, Big Bird, were talking in a Discord the other day, like, what is that Russian promotion that is just dreadful, right? You just know the Octagon. And then I've seen it. It's hardcore MMA. So this guy's built his career in hardcore MMA, right? And it's just, look at his record: 4-5, 3-6, 1-1, 3-6. And then he went to, the Young Eagles and beat this Magomed Saliev, who's 11-3, knocked him out. So I'm like, okay, he can take a step up and he can still get a knockout, right? But he's clearly a white belt, mostly a striker. And I'm like, oh, this is Pick'em. I don't know why people like this guy. And then I look at Ogar. And man, this Ogar guy, right? 7-6 record, right? Knocked out in 30 seconds by Sadiq Youssef, lost to this Troy Whitman. Knocked out in 30 seconds by Terrell Horchuk. Knocked out by Charlie Campbell, round 2, and submitted by 3 and 4 Elijah Harris. I'm like, who the hell is this bum? And why the hell did they sign this guy? And then, he's got a couple of round 1 submissions over, just some overrated Russian guys. And then he signed. I'm like, okay, I get it. This is basically, one punch loss for him, or insta sub against the white belt, And I was like, I get it. And I'm like, maybe Pick'em is accurate, right? It's extremely volatile. you're going to lose in the first round most likely, or you're going to win in the first round. So I was like, I was this close to passing. As I said, Alexei, short notice, looks very soy. Vadim looks much better now. Looks on the absolute juice since he went to Russia. And I also seen Alexei drop and hurt. He's got that karate stance. So, but I'm like, man, what's going to piss me off more? If I pass on this fight and Alexei wins via round 1 KO, or if I play him for half a unit and he gets submitted and I just seen it coming. And I'm like, I've been here before. I'll definitely be more annoyed if I miss out on easy money. So I put half a unit, completely okay to lose. And he gets knocked out on the feet in 17 seconds. And I was like, wow, that's actually hilarious. That's impressive. He has actually been knocked out and dropped before early because he just has no guard. But I just thought it was funny. Ogar's time is coming. We might get a good line on him in the ACA because he's on a 5-fight winning streak and he looks like a beast. But that chin is still there. So lost half a unit there, $300. So won half a unit, lost half a unit, and now we get to the UFC. And this was 2 a.m. in the morning. I had a busy week. Even with a break week, I didn't really get much chance to tape it, so it was a little bit annoying. I gave out Trey Waters, early in the week, but then kind of didn't like it. But then I retaped it again. But let's go fight to fight. Sam Hughes, Shannon Bannon. I wasn't really interested. Shit fight. Props to Sam Hughes covering. Rinat Fakhretdinov. I actually had a unit on Andreas Gustafsson, and after tape, didn't really like it. Didn't feel like tipping it out. Completely hedged it out for $10 profit because a bit of money came in, and obviously good result. I didn't think there was an edge at Pick'em. I thought it'd be competitive back and forth fight. Interesting result. Rinat Fakhretdinov by round 1 KO. So very volatile. Brizek, Brad Tavares. I like this one before tape, early in the week. And then the tape turned me off, right? Obviously, Brizek loses a decision to old mate in his debut, Ilo Poteria, one of the worst guys to ever do it. And honestly, he's just has really, really bad decision equity. He can't beat anyone via decision. Leandro Silva, that's a decent loss. No shame there. Sadi Busi, whatever. But then, Zdenko Polivka as well, who's an octagon journeyman. He's really bad. And it's just unless he's knocking these guys out in the first round, it's just very bad decision equity. So I could really see Brad Tavares, who I get it. He's washed. His durability is not where it used to be. I could see Tavares winning, a minus EV decision based on having the better cardio, better durability, better output, better decision equity. His fight with the Iron Turtle was still somewhat competitive. So he's not, I don't think he's completely washed, right? And Brizek almost knocks him out, and then he doesn't. And I'm like, this is probably going to lose 2-3 now. And then he won round 2, in my opinion. It was quite clear. And I wasn't going to lie about it because Brad Tavares was a favorite. And then round 3 starts, and Brad Tavares jumps out to $2.50, plus 150. I'm like, what? From what I'm seeing, he's still sticking and moving, and he's doing well in the first minute or so. And I put $200 on it, not even half a unit to win half a unit, $300. Right after that, it gets knocked out. So I'm like, cool. As predicted, Brizek with the round 3 KO. So that's interesting. So I'm like $200 down. And then we get into the Sam Pedersen, Trey Waters. And as I said, I locked this early in the week. And after tape, I wasn't too confident. It was I do feel like Sam Pedersen should be the favorite, right? He's more proven. He's fought better guys. Trey Waters is 30. He hasn't really competed in MMA much. He's predominantly a boxer with a guillotine. And that's it. His hands are low, et cetera, et cetera. Doesn't really check leg kicks. He coming off an injury. But I'm like, there's no way Sam Patterson's going to be minus 200, by the end of the next week. So there'll be some CLV for me, and I can hedge out. I could have hedged out middle of the week, and then the line pretty much came back to what I had. So I did hedge out because after tape, I'm like, you know what? I can totally see Trey Waters deading this guy with a pull counter. I think he has more pop in his hands. I think his takedown defense and his submission defense is underrated, despite what happened in the Gabriel Bonfim fight. I think that's not a bad look whatsoever. And I think he has the one-punch KO power. And neither guys really has good defense, but Sam Pedersen's actually getting hit by much smaller guys all the time, and he's been knocked out a bunch. So I thought, Sam Pedersen could have the volume advantage and, Trey potentially the moments, and it could be competitive, and I was hoping for a KO. And I am very annoyed that I didn't hedge with a round 1, round 2 knockout because it was Pick'em. It was Pick'em, and I thought both guys could get it done. Basically, 40 seconds in, I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, this someone's dying here. So I'm like, I like my bet because I could really see Trey Waters deading him. But at the same time, like, my bet's going to lose at any moment now. 40 seconds in, I'm like, Trey Waters needs to put his hands up, man. Like, you can't just use head movement in front of a guy that has bigger reach than you. And yeah, he deads him. And I was like, that's annoying. I did reduce. So I had like 400 and something bucks to win a unit. I thought a unit was too much on him. So with 200 bucks lost on Brizek, on Brad Tavares live bet, and 400 something on Trey Waters, I'm a unit down now. And that's it for my bets. The bets are done. So, but I'm confident. I'm like, no worries. I'm up at 3M for a reason. I'm going to live bet. I'm going to action bet. So we got Kai Fernandez, Harry Hardwick. And I'm like, man, this under it feels good, but Harry Hardwick seems quite durable to me. And, Kai Fernandez, I'm kind of relying on Harry Hardwick to break him down the stretch. And despite Kai Fernandez gassing in a lot of his fights, he hasn't really been finished much. So I'm like, I can't do it. So what I'm going to do is I'll poke a little round 1, which is Fernandez's path, and I'll poke some round 3, which is Harry Hardwick's path. Round 1 hits off a few calf kicks. That gets me like 200 bucks. We're Gucci. We lowered the damage. I'm like, I finally want to bet. It could have been worse if I didn't cash out Gustafsson. It could have been worse if I didn't lower Trey Waters. So we moved. So now we're down. We're down like 400 bucks instead of 600, right? Then we get to Ante Delija, Marcin Tybura, and a lot of people liked Delija. Honestly, I did too, and I felt like, you know what? That's it correlates with him being the harder hitter. He can probably get Tybura out of there in round 1. So I just ended up playing the under 2.5 rounds in the Discord. And then I played some round 1 Delija myself, and not much, just like 50 bucks, and that got me like 200 bucks as well. So now we're almost to break even. I'm like, let's go. But honestly, that should have been a bigger bet. And then we get to Umar C, Brendan Ribeiro, and this was the bet that in my gut, I was like, I'm gonna play like something decent on this, right? So this comes, and I'm like, Umar C, he should really get Brendan Ribeiro out of there. This is not Alonzo Manifield. This is not a guy with elite takedown defense and power. Yeah, Ribeiro has power, but he actually has 0 takedown defense. And as much of a bum as Umar C is, as much as he hates to be hit, he should get takedowns here. So I played ends round 1 and 2, 400 bucks to win 300, half a unit. That cashes in the first round. I thought about the under 1.5, but this just gave me like 2.5 more minutes, just in case it was a positional ground and pound in round 2, for example. So now we're in profit. We're in profit by 100 bucks. It's not much, but at least I'm not down, and I'll action bet some stuff. We'll get to the main card. Gomez Ruchala. I didn't really tape this one. I was like, too much. I just taped a couple of Ruchala, and I'm like, man, this guy cost me some money in KSW. He's basically like the William Gomez of KSW, like a weasel. He looks so bad on tape, but he keeps getting wins. And honestly, he did much better than expected. He was at a big speed and athleticism disadvantage, and he kept it really competitive with Gomez. Honestly, Ruchala is going to be a decent fighter in the UFC, in my opinion. There was some overhand rights that he barely missed. But honestly, looking back on that, I don't know why I didn't play William Gomez's decision. Apparently, it was plus money. So I liked the over, but that was completely chalked, so I passed. But yeah, plus money, that's an oversight by me. Alex Sola, Reese McKee. A lot of people got on some early Reese McKee. I mean, it made sense. Alex Sola gets dropped all the time. But, I just did some wiki capping, and I'm like, this guy's never been knocked out. I don't want to rely on Reese McKee to get a knockout. And yeah, Sola I just thought was faster, quicker. He's obviously going to wrestle. Reese McKee is just the bottom of the barrel. He got that. He high rolled that win off like 3-4 knockdowns against Funza. And I don't know. I think he's just going to be cut again, to be honest. Alex Sola fought better than expected. Like, very patient. He still slowed down, but yeah, ended up getting him out of there with a body shot. So just like a bit of an underwhelming fighter, but just technical. And yeah, past there. Mason Joe, same thing. I like Balaji Oki, just like Trey Waters before tape. After tape, I was like, man, I feel like just Mason Jones, despite his holes, despite, being hittable, just constantly letting it washed Jeremy Stevens, like, crack him in his last fight in the UFC. Despite all that, I just feel like he's a more proven fighter. He's got more dog in him. Balaji Oki going to close fights with that guy from Fury FC on short notice, upper weight class, Michael Aswell, getting finished by Chris Duncan, going to close fights with Timmy Kwamba, just not proven. He looks good. He's very athletic. He's got good striking, but there's no other layers. So I was like, I'm going to live bet this fight. This is the one. I can't play the chalk on Mason Jones because I just know he's going to get hurt in round 1. But the finger will be on the button. And then as soon as he gets hurt, the live line is just locked for the entire fight. So I was like, whatever, miss out on that one too. Metatis Bukakis, Paul Craig. I was going to play the over here, and I'm like, I can't. Modestus doesn't hit hard, but he hits hard enough to knock out someone like Paul Craig, who has no striking defense whatsoever. And I looked at start round 2 because that's what I played in the Bilardo fight, and the Bilardo fight was a pick'em. But Modestus versus Craig starts round 2 was worse than -200, and I'm like, I can't do it. That's disgusting. And imagine if I played that back-to-back fight start round 2 in Paul Craig fights, and imagine if they both lost. Last time at up kick in the last second, which was cruising over, and then in this fight, a last second elbow which was going over as well. So that would have just tilted the shit out of me. So I thought it was hilarious. I was like, thank goodness I wasn't on that. But yeah, good, happy retirement to Paul Craig, man. I remember I was a casual when I was betting him when he first came into the UFC, and I was like, this guy's an animal, man. He's just submitting everyone on the Bama regional scene, and he was a purple belt, and he was a high school teacher. Look, he's always been a bit crap, but like props to him for just beating like some really high level guys. I'll miss him. It's good to have characters like Paul Craig at light heavyweight who just pull guard and are just elite at it. So good on him. And BSD Mauricio Huffy. This is the one, man. This is the one where everyone was on different sides, and I'm like, this is going to be the one where I'm going to have a one unit bet. Whatever it may be. I couldn't really do Huffy. Pre-tape, I thought to myself, Huffy by murder, right? Like Benoit Saint Denis didn't really look impressive in his last fight. Hasn't really looked impressive against a lot of these guys. Poirier is easy to grapple. Just Huffy should pick his shot and just dead him, And then after tape, I'm like, yeah, okay, takedown defense is extremely elite. But then, you go deeper and it's like, wow, Benoit Saint Denis is hittable, but he closes distance so well, man. He closes distance so well. He's going to get on those hips. And if he's the first guy to take Mauricio Huffy down, what then? Like, what then? What do we... I don't know. What's Huffy like on bottom mount when he gets his back taken? We've never seen it. There is no footage out there. All there is just how high level his takedown defense and balance is. So I'm like, if that happens, if he takes him down, I can actually see the BSD leans. My Dogfather and Pepe on it. I was like, I can actually see this. But I was a pussy to lock it in, so I just thought I'm just gonna play round 1 and 2, right? And I'm happy with that. I was like, let me just put a full unit. I'm $100 up. I work my way up. I don't like anything in the main event, so let's put a whole unit on this. If it doesn't cash, it doesn't cash. And the reason I put rounds 1 and 2 is because the under was plus money. So it was going to be it wasn't going to be chalky to get an extra 2.5 minutes. And if you see BSD, his Dustin Poirier fight went over by 2 seconds. Extremely tilting. Thiago Moises almost made it to round 3. Renato Moicano almost made it to round 3. Kyle Prepelic over by 5 seconds. I didn't get burned on that one either. And then Mauricio Huffy goes over by 26 seconds. So I actually did feel like it was going to be a round 2 KO or round 2 sub, whatever it is. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I had $600 on it to win 420, and I ended up on $530. So I'm like, that's it for me. This main event really felt like a pick'em. Imavo versus Bohayo. There are a lot of similarities, insane durability, very technical strikers, very well rounded. The over, I would have loved the over, but it got steamed to -200 and still had value, honestly. Like, I think these two and Strickland, they're like one of the most durable guys in the division. So you could always play their overs. But yeah, just -200. As an under guy, when I see that kind of number on over, 4.5 rounds, I was just like, it's probably accurate, but I don't want to play with fire here. They're both gassy. You never know what could happen. Just recently, Imavo sparked Adesanya in under 1.5 rounds, So they were both capable, so I passed. So this is where we're at for September. Modest profit on Dana Contender Series. Lost it all with one volatile bet on ACA, and then just under a unit on Paris. So again, very modest, 400 and something bucks. I ain't gonna complain. If you see right here, I finished the month of August on $199,800. So technically, I'm over 200,000. So we did it. This was a big landmark for me. I said if I get over 200,000, I'm going to do something special for people, and I'm not going to do it just yet, just because I'm like $200 over the $200,000 mark, and if I lose like $200 on Contender Series in 3 days, it's a bit embarrassing because I've just jumped back down. Not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just being, let me get a couple of K, let me get like $1,000 above the 200,000, and then I'll do something special. I don't know, I might do like a giveaway, a cash giveaway, might put some people into the Discord for free. We'll see. But yeah, happy with that landmark, 200,000. It's good shit. It's good shit. And yeah, the reads are all right. Had a couple of stupid bets with Haag and ACA. Not stupid bets, but just like sub 2-minute knockout losses. But yeah, we're good. We're good. Let me look at the comments. Your name, what's up? Welcome in here. Oga, total fluke. That guy is still a fade. Yep. Can't wait. We should have bet Brisek Tavares wash. Yeah, honestly, as much as I didn't give Brisek much of decision equity, with Tavares, he's still, it makes sense, Even if he gets extended, Tavares also doesn't have good decision equity, and he's like minus 200. So, plus Brisek had that KO upside in round 1. Litz, thanks to Dogfather for the under, great call. Yep, Kai Hernandez under, he was on it. I was just wanting to click it, and I'm like, oh man. I was like, fuck it, I'll just go with round 1 instead. Because I didn't know how he was going to cash if he made it out of round 1. Fresh Gambles, happy to fade Sam at the price, but man, Waters IQ is something else. Yeah, Waters is he's good, but he's bad at the same time. Londo, today was a great day. Cash Dilly, Moneyline, under 2.5. Cash Paper, Dogfather collab. Were you on the Oki collab as well? Let me know, Lando. Solo is a huge fade. Yeah, he's all right, man. I wouldn't say huge, but we'll see. Insane toughness by Mason. Yeah, I think Mason has one of the better chins in the UFC, man. I remember when Onana made a debut against him as a huge underdog. I took a little poke. I'm like, this guy hits like a truck. Mason's hittable. And yeah, I just couldn't believe the damage that Mason was eating. And then in the Mike Davis fight right after that, I was like, this guy's never going to get knocked out. It's just impossible. Can't believe people bet Huffy. Biggest sharps versus square we have seen in a while. I mean, you're just parroting what Pepe said, man. Like, I get the Huffy line. I get the Huffy play. Elite takedown defense and touch of death, etc., etc. But to me personally, I couldn't do it because it looked like a very square bet at that price. So I just went for the under because I thought it correlates with both. Londo BSD was free money. I mean, yeah, in hindsight, it was free money. Huffy did look. He does look like a very wilty character. There's some fights where he just completely stops throwing out volume. Dogfather is in here just complaining about something. My bad, I can't hit every underdog. It's all right, man. You'll get him next week. I was on Oki too, but it's cool. I cashed the other 3 bets. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, it seems like people did okay. It did feel like I was going to have a lot of bets, and I did have a lot of bets, but in hindsight, a few smash spots, like at the Leisure round 1 at $5. I should have put more than what I put on. I could have put like $100, $100 something. OMRC, that's the fight that I liked for like at least a unit. Could have been a 2-unit bet. And obviously the BSD, I liked 1 and 2, and I played 1 and 2. So honestly, I'm not going to complain about anything. Modest profit. We'll do it all again. Let's have a look. We have a lot of fights this week. I'm not going to do an early teaser or anything, but I'll do it tomorrow. Contender series. What do we have here? By the way, there's a boxing bet in 2 hours. Eduardo Sugar Nunez. I need to take that. I'll get that right after the show. What do we go contender series? Wow, Cam Teague, Douglas, Samuel Sanchez, Jason Blair, Felipe Blanco. I don't know these 2. Chanel Dyer versus Carol Foro. This is the best fight of the episode, hands down. These 2 girls are elite strikers. Can't wait. Can't wait to watch this one. And Anthony Gariasco, Steven Asplund. I know Asplund, but who the hell is this guy? Another bum main event. UE Warriors. I don't know if I'll be betting that. LFA. Who are the bums on this LFA card? Let's have a look. McKee, bum. Pedro Nobre, that's random. Oh, Gable Stevens. Wow. Here we go. The man that pulled out with an injured toe from CJI Invitationals. Shane Bowers, I don't know who the Sanchez chick is. Oh, Nikita's back. Bobby Lee. Joe Hart, the bum. Christian Turner, another bum. It's just all bums. I hate LFA. Just bum after bum. Alrighty. Cage Warriors. Oh, here we go. Speaking of bums. Ooh. If this is not in Italy, I'll be excited. Yes, it's not. Another Hardwick brother. Simon Patrizzi, bum, Bungard. Oh, Chamu is back. Jordan O'Neill, wow. Lexi Rook. What a weird fight. Just a bunch of weird fights. Prince, Fisher, Harvey, McKenzie, Figlak, Crosby. Tom Wright, bum. Carlos, wow, this is meme fight. Ooh, Jake McHugh. This guy was an Octagon. Interesting. That'll be a good fight to tape. Matthew Elliott. Oh, George Steins also. Yeah, nice. Some good fights. Hopefully more time this week than last week. Octagon, here we go. Love me some Octagon. Love me some Octagon. What do we have? The boy Holzer is back. Kylie Taha finally getting a decent step up. Although Taha's a bit of a bum too, but Polokaj versus Bafalski. This is a good fight. Do we have this on Bet365? You would think so. It feels like it's been a while since we had Octagon, right? KSW we had a few, but Octagon feels like a bit of a layover. Wow, we got odds. We got odds on Bet365. Polokai, slight favorite to Jakub. Interesting. Tala. Wait, what? Tala versus Edgar Delgado. Is this fight off? That's not Max Holzer. I think that fight might be off. Okay. That's a shame. And Publica, this is the bum that beat fucking Brisek, Elkan, Dvorak coming back. Yeah. Enrique Barbosa's in here. Toto. Wow, interesting fight. Machaev is back. Vandal Jr. Ooh, that's a scenes fight. Scenes. Yeah, there's a lot of, it seems like there's a lot of pullouts because there's a lot of different fights on Bet365. Also, I'll give you a bet. I bet Gabriel BJJ Neto. Braga, Silva, BJJ Neto. So shout out to 6 Hound. Point that in that direction. I was looking at it for weeks. And yeah, I think he's going to finish Puelles. What do we got for comments? Litz. Laron should catch a body on Tuesday. He should. Go peep Franco's record and Vidal's. Is that you're talking about the NY Contender Series? Vidal, all right. Let me have a look. Just because you pointed me in that direction. I mean, they're going to be bums. Oh, wow, interesting. Disgusting. What about Franco? Surely Franco can't be that bad. Wow. Hilarious. It sucks when you won't be able to know who's the A side here because they're just identical bum records. And of course, it's a light heavyweight fight. What else? Staines is legit. I mean, he's a little bit overrated, if I may say so myself. Just an elite sniffer. He's almost been exposed a couple times already. His odds are not even on Bet365, so probably another fight that's off. Billy Fate, above average size Steve. Yes, I am. Barely. All right, what else we got? What else we got? Cage Warriors, Octagon, UFC. And we've got some boxing with the old Canelo versus Crawford. And we actually got Inoue. Great weekend for boxing. Wow, an ACA. Is that really this week? Erokin versus whatever the hell this guy's name is. Baiko, Hakan Diaz. Wow, this is this week. Wow, there's a lot of watch guys on this. Gafarov. I need to tape this fight. I need to tape this card sooner so I don't burn out like last week. Wow, there's a lot. Wow. Sydney Outlaw making his debut in ACA. Wow, there is a lot of wash guys on this card. Chris Honeycutt. Oh, man. This is a bummy-ass card, and there's only 8 fights. It's all right. It's after the UFC, which is interesting. All right. Well, I'm not going to go into the UFC. I gave you my bet. Gabriel BJJ Neto. Thanks for listening. Dogfather, we gotta lock in and look at this bet. We gotta lock in. All right. Thanks for listening. Peace out. Leave a comment. See you soon.